ask all council members to silence and put away cell phones. If you need to conduct personal business during the meeting, please make a motion to recess. For those participating by phone, please keep your device muted unless speaking. When speaking, please remember to state your name for the benefit of those viewing the live stream. As a reminder, this meeting is being broadcast live. The camera is located above the clock at the back of the council chambers. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Cottle.
Here.
Councilmember Graham. Councilmember Graham, are you online?
I am online, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Schmidt.
Here.
Councilmember Crafton.
Here.
Councilmember Velock.
Here.
Councilmember Rubio.
Here.
You do have a quorum, Madam Mayor. All members are with us present in chambers except for Councilmember Graham, who is participating telephonically.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Cottle, would you please lead us?
My pleasure. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item of business is approval of the agenda. Before changes are discussed, are there conflicts of interest to declare? Somebody online needs to mute their phone. Hearing none, are there changes to the agenda?
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Kraft?
Thank you, Mayor. Could I move 8.4.3 AM number 2553 to new business, please?
Okay. And Mr. Graham wants to move 8.3.1 to new business. Are there any more changes? Hearing none, is there an objection to the agenda as changed? The agenda is approved as amended. There are no special orders of the day. We are now at commission and agency reports. We'll hear from Recreational Services Director Bell on the Parks and Rec Commission.
Scott Bell, Recreational Services Director. We had a Park and Recs Commission meeting September 17th. At that meeting, the discussion points were, I did a recap of the FY26 Rec Services budget and the CIP projects. We did welcome Dan Fleckenstein to the commission, filling seat C. Discussed, let's see, we had Facebook, we have 3,903 followers. Maintenance supervisor for building and parks, Jess Griffith, reported paving walking path that I did at park was completed. They were working on the tunnel and cameras at Newcomb Park, cleaning up graffiti vandalism at the skateboard park. Added a half-mile trail at Lake Lucille Park, and clean up several pounds of trash at Cottonwood Creek Park from the homeless camps. Director Shaw reported on the drainage project at Bumpus Ballfields, installing septic tanks at Bumpus, restrooms also, and working on design for paving out there. We had public comment and discussion regarding Peck Street and Wasilla Lake access. Matsu Softball Association did a presentation on their expansion ideas and plans. And then additionally, Director Shaw reported on Nunley Park online survey results, asking the commission for feedback. Some of the specific feedback that came back was they all kind of agreed on no caboose for Nunley Park. Several of the commissioners were actually on the board some 20 years ago or so when it originally arrived, and they didn't have a voice then, and they would not have wanted it. They want to keep the Nunley Park focus on kind of tots and younger kids. They kind of were not sure about the need for the amphitheater and the design that's come across, and like the idea of accessibility, inclusivity built into the park. And the next meeting will be November 12th.
Okay, thank you. On behalf of the Deputy Administrator, I will provide the Planning Commission update. At its September 9th meeting, the Commission unanimously adopted Resolution 25-10, recommending repeal of the Downtown Overlay District. The Deputy Administrator will present an ordinance for council consideration at an upcoming meeting. The September 23rd Planning Commission meeting has been canceled due to lack of agenda items. Okay, we have no ordinance scheduled for public hearing, so we'll proceed to persons to be heard. This is a time for members of the public to share their views with the council. Please note, this is not a question and answer period. Speakers may be referred to administration and items raised may be taken under advisement. And the first one up is Mr. Stearns.
Good evening. My name is Tom Stearns. I'm the Senior Ambassador for the Wausau Area Seniors Incorporated.
Mr. Stearns, would you turn your microphone on, please? Thank you, sir.
You want me to go through that again? Okay. My name is Tom Stearns. I'm the Senior Ambassador for the Wausau Area Seniors Incorporated. This time of year, Wausau is very busy. We're doing a lot of things, but to start with, you have a flyer on your desk there, a maroon flyer of needs that we have. And so we'd like you to read that, and if you know anybody that could help us in those, we would be appreciative. Also, we have a little website there, justserve.org. If you go to that, you put in our zip code, and you scroll down, you'll see all the jobs that are available at WASI at this time. The auction, we have an auction coming up, and we need items for our auction. So if you have, or if you know people that have items that they would like to give to us so that we can auction them off, we would appreciate it quite a bit. Our annual membership meeting, and we need those items by the 1st of October. The annual membership meeting is the 14th of October. Our next board meeting is the 16th of October. And then the big event of the season is the Harvest Brunch fundraiser on the 18th. It's a fundraiser, so for a seat at the table, $50, unless you know somebody that's already bought the table, and then you can get in with them for probably nothing. There will be an auction there. There'll be a live auction there. We're going to bring people together again, show them and tell them the things that WASI does, why it's important to this community. Meals, housing, you name it, we do it, and for seniors, and it's important. Then we also are still doing, I think, the farmers market coupons on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then I think there's only one more Friday in September, but that Friday in September will be laughing yoga. And so, see, now just saying that gets you smiling, okay? Just think of what it would do if you were in the class. And so that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stern. And next is Heather, and I'm not going to pronounce your last name because I'll butcher it. So Heather, if you would begin your testimony stating your first and last name.
It's Heather Plusinski. I don't blame you for not saying that. My name's Heather Plusinski, and I work for Northwest Playground Equipment. And I'm not a resident of Wasilla. I'm your neighbor in Eagle River. And I'm here because I'm aware that that Nunley Park is going to be maybe being redone here in the near future. And I am a recreation therapist and a parks consultant. And I have looked at the park, and we've been doing playgrounds up here for 26 years. My company is based out of Issaquah, Washington, but my territory is the entire state. So I travel all over, and I'm very interested and experienced in creating parks and playgrounds that are accessible and inclusive. And I have a background. I used to work for Challenge Alaska. Maybe some of you are familiar with that organization. Working with people with disabilities of all ages. So used to doing, working with people in wheelchairs, but not only that, multi-generational parks and playgrounds and unified surfaces, and also people that not only are having physical challenges, but also that have sensory disabilities and those types of things. So it's a great park. I've looked at it, and just interested in letting you know that we have the capability to assist with that project if you would like to reach out to us. I did bring some information, some designs for different parks that we've done across the state that I'd like to share. That's it.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. And next up is Mr. Tim Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Council. Tim Johnson, city resident of Wasilla. I'd like to speak in support of, and still have several concerns with some of the items on the consent agenda as we're moving forward. The first one is ordinance 2530. I strongly support the funding for this particular position. My concern, on the other hand, is we're already down numerous officers, and while we are allocating people to the multi-jurisdictional drug force as it is, we are taking away from our beat police officers in so doing. So my interest here is to put a renewed interest in filling our open positions so that we can definitely fully support this particular initiative. Secondly, I want to put my strong support for the FAA project ordinance serial number 2532 for the money of $7.244 million. I think that expanding our airport is going to improve the overall infrastructure of our cities. So I'm in strong support of that. The last item is resolution serial number 2531, supporting the Wasilla of Alaska exploration for a new facility here. I support this. However, I think we definitely need to not only have city involvement, but we need citizen involvement in the feasibility study. I'm a member of the YMCA in Minneapolis just because my son lives there. It's a great facility. It has some real advantages, and yet I have some concerns considering the size and overlap of some of our existing facilities and utilization that we would have if we fully move forward with a full YMCA. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So now, we are on to the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, please read the items for approval under the consent agenda by title.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Regular meeting minutes, August 25th, 2025. We have 4 introductions. Recommended public hearing date, October 13th, 2025. The first is ordinance serial number 2530, amending the fiscal year 2026 budget by accepting and appropriating an Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Grant in an amount not to exceed $161,940 for the purpose of one multi-jurisdictional drug task force investigator position at the Wasilla Police Department for assignment to the statewide drug enforcement unit. Ordinance serial number 2531, amending Wasilla Municipal Code 390-040 travel to authorize the direct payment of travel costs and clarify limitations on incurred travel expenses. Ordinance serial number 2532, amending the fiscal year 2026 budget to reduce the previous $12 million Federal Aviation Administration Grant Fund appropriation to the actual Federal Aviation Administration Grant Funds award of $7,244,697 for Taxiway K and related improvements at the Wasilla Municipal Airport. Lastly, ordinance serial number 2534, amending the fiscal year 2026 budget by appropriating $560,000 from the general fund balance to fund consulting support and project management for the implementation of the city's new enterprise resource planning system. Left on the consent agenda, one resolution, resolution serial number 2532, concurring in the memorandum of agreement between the Alaska Department of Transportation and Public Facilities and the Alaska State Historic Preservation Officer regarding the Wasilla Main Street Rehabilitation Project. And 3 AMs left on the consent agenda. The first AM number 2551, contract award to Nodak Electric in the amount of $39,014 for Idita Park Christmas lighting improvements. AM number 2552, contract award to North Star Roofing in the amount of $50,625 for the Road Shop Roof Restoration Project. And lastly, AM number 2554, approving a term contract task order amendment to HDL Engineering in the amount of $1,455,704 for construction administration services related to construction of Taxiway K at the Wasilla Municipal Airport.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as read?
Madam Mayor, I move the consent agenda as read.
Is there a second?
Rubio seconds.
It's been moved by Councilmember Crafton and seconded by Councilmember Rubio to approve the consent agenda as read. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. There is no unfinished business. We are now to new business. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And if no objection from council, I'm going to take these in order. So the first before the body would be resolution serial number 2531, supporting the YMCA of Alaska's exploration of a future facility in the city of Wasilla.
Mr. Graham, you want to speak to this?
Motion to adopt.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Hang on a minute.
So,
Is there a motion to adopt resolution serial number 25-31?
Madam
Graham moves 2531.
Is there a second?
Mayor, Cowell seconds.
It has been moved by Councilmember Graham and seconded by Councilmember Cottle to approve resolution serial number 2531. Is there objection to the motion?
Discussion.
Hearing none, is there discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Ms. Graham.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. The reason I asked for this to be moved to new business is the way the resolution is worded. When you read through it, it sounds like, and could very easily be interpreted to be that the city is going to help the YMCA find facilities that the city owns and that the YMCA may be able to use. In almost every city where the YMCA operates, and the YMCA is a great organization, by the way, they don't operate out of municipal or formerly municipal areas, with the exception of some schools that have been deactivated where the YMCA has moved into those. We don't have any schools. We don't have any fire department buildings that have been abandoned or moved. We are essentially a land poor and facility poor city. We have what we need to make things happen, but we don't have a lot of excess square footage that would be beneficial to the YMCA for what this resolution is talking about. So I will vote against adopting this resolution, because I don't think the city needs to be in that business. If the YMCA wants to do that business, they can certainly contact Jess and say, hey, do you mind if we walk through building whatever? And Jess can say, if it's safe, can say, sure. I'll send somebody over there to let you in and answer your questions and walk around and do whatever you need to do to assess whatever feasibility you're looking at. But I don't think the city needs to be in that business. I don't think we should be in that business. And the city should be looking at how to, use the land that we have for economic development and for use by all the citizens. And I don't think, having the YMCA, which doesn't serve all of the citizens. We have, what do we have now, 6 or 7 gyms and pools in the city. So I just don't see that the city needs to be in that business. I think if the YMCA does their feasibility study and they determine that there's a need for that and there's support for that, I think that's a great thing. But I don't think the city should be in the business or I don't think our city should be in the business of assisting any particular nonprofit over any sort of for-profit tax-paying businesses. Thank you.
Is there further discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Crafton?
Thank you, Mayor. So some of what this entails is the CEO of the YMCA Alaska, Nate, and I had a conversation around 3 different pieces of land. So there's not physical buildings that they're interested in. It's specifically land that the city owns. And kind of what the idea was behind doing this was kind of a will of the council saying, hey, if you want to explore those opportunities, the council's willing to say, yes, administration, we want you to allow them to do that. There's no cost to the city to do this. It is strictly just a, hey, tell us what you think is going to work best for you. If you guys determine something we have is going to work for you, tell us what you want with it, and then we can determine if we're going to, if that's something we're even willing to do. So I was doing the best I could to prevent the city from being bound to anything. Again, we can't bind a future council to anything. I mean, here next month, we're going to have a new council, partially. And so really the idea behind this was just to say, we understand that there's a need. There's been a feasibility study done in the past, and it was determined that a YMCA or the community could benefit from a YMCA. And so they want to continue exploring those options. And so that's really the root of what this is just saying, hey, we have some options that are available and or could be available to you, and we just want to allow you to do what you need to do, and then we can make a final decision whether that's something we're fully interested going forward. But again, this was the most basic level of support that I felt the city could provide to the YMCA. They've been clawing around trying to find a spot and just been very unsuccessful in finding something or finding somebody that would help support them in their future endeavors. So I'd really appreciate the support of this one going forward. Thank you.
Is there further discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Kathy?
through the mayor to Scott. Scott, in your opinion, would having an organization like this here take anything away from what we do at the Menard Center?
Through the mayor to Councilmember Cottle, I think staying on our original course, which was doing our own feasibility study, will kind of let us, I think, direct us in the direction the city needs to go. Madam Mayor and I did meet with YMCA and the Matsu Seahawkers, again, interested in partnering or using, at that discussion, property at the Menard Center. And so what the community needs, I don't want to guess. I think what the city needs are and what the YMCA needs are might not necessarily, I don't want to say the YMCA is going to be, quote, competition, but it is a possibility. Partnering with the YMCA can, again, provide to the community. Another component to this is if our feasibility study comes back and says another sheet of ice, and some of the things that we've talked about, any preliminary partnering with the YMCA, if it's on Menard property, it could limit us on what our capabilities or our future plans could be. but I think our discussions with the YMCA were positive. They're community-driven. The challenge for me is if they, let's say hypothetically, they do build on property, they are a membership-based, fee-based organization, where obviously we provide different services for different reasons. And so finding that balance, again, great organization. We need, I think, take a look at what the city needs are, and if they're in parallel or if they're in contrast, I think we can probably find that out. The preliminary things they indicated is that they were interested in doing a pool and basketball, volleyball style courts, some childcare and meeting rooms, I think, maybe, yeah. So in summary, I think, again, our feasibility study, I think, should be our compass a little bit. And I think it's great that they want to be in the community and do their feasibility study. And then that's where I think we start having real conversations.
Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Ms.
Madam Mayor.
Rubio.
Madam Mayor, thank you. So Scott, not directly a question, but in the sense of, you're saying the YMCA is saying they're just looking right now as a pool, basketball courts, and meeting rooms.
That's what they indicated to us, yes. And our discussion was, and property at the Menard Center and use of parking lot were kind of what they indicated to us.
They
That may
want,
change,
they want to use our parking lot?
yes.
So are you in support of this?
I don't know. I'm working really hard to get my parking lot for our users, which I know we've been investing a lot in. I do think that if a partnership comes about, they would need to certainly address their own parking, because even with what we've done, we're kind of already again short of parking. So, yeah, I do have a concern.
Madam Mayor, sorry, I could answer some of those questions. That was part of the conversation Nate and I had. Would Ms. Rubio mind? Do you
Mr.
mind if I
Crafton.
answered some of those questions for you?
What question?
What you had, Mr. Scott, so
I was
what,
asking directly and what our director thought, not
Well-
a conversation you had. Thank you, though. One more question if I can, Madam.
Yes.
In the big picture, you said the Seahawkers are in support of this, but the Seahawkers already have a part of our facility, if I remember correctly.
So the Seahawkers approach is different than the YMCA's, where I think, in simple terms, Seahawkers and other user groups like them are encouraging us to build full soccer facilities or multiple, hard shell dome-like facilities, because the YMCA's, they're not looking to do that. So it was kind of a combo meeting, because, in summary would be, we've heard lots of people saying, hey, we should do, and so we just got everyone together and just like, all right, what are you looking to do? YMCA sounded like they have funding in order, and we're looking for a site is kind of their primary, where the Seahawkers and probably any soccer and other groups like that are supporting the city in expanding our amenities. If that answers your question.
That did. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. Thank you, Madam.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is on the adoption of.
Madam Mayor, I'm trying to call in, but you're not hearing me.
Oh, sorry. I hear you now,
That's
so
okay.
go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, Madam Mayor, there currently is no policy limitation stating that any organization can't, look around and do feasibility studies to do what they want. The problem I have with this resolution is on lines 40 through 42, which says that the city affirms its intent to work collaboratively with the YMCA, and I think that, and to acquire an appropriate site on city-owned land. So number one, that's completely inappropriate for the city to identify something up front and say, well, we're gonna say you can use our land to do that. So at this time, Madam Mayor, I propose amendment number 1 to strike lines 40 through 42 of this resolution 2531.
Okay. I need a second on Mr. Graham's motion.
Madam Mayor, I'll second.
It has been moved by Mr. Graham and seconded by Ms. Cottle to strike lines 40, 41, and 42. Is there discussion? Hearing
Madam
none.
Mayor.
Sir,
Yeah, so this is Graham again. So once again, what we're doing here is we're identifying the YMCA of Alaska as a single source, as a kind of a sole source for us to work with, and we're telling them that we're going to work collaboratively with them to take over some city property for them to build whatever facility it is or provide whatever services that they want, which are not of interest to the city, are of interest to city residents, but not of interest to the city as far as the government goes. So putting this in here that we say we're going to work collaboratively with them to take over some of our land, I think is completely inappropriate and should be stricken.
is there further discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Crafton?
Thank you, Mayor. If I could ask the question to Mr. Graham, I'm trying to understand why it's inappropriate that it's in there. Because if I recall, Jamie, I don't think I had originally put this in here. I think this was some of what was adjusted. Or was it in there? I don't remember.
Mayor?
It's okay. Holly wants to speak, it sounds like.
Holly?
Sorry about that, Councilmember Crafton. I just want to quickly say that I think that Councilmember Graham would be correct if there wasn't language that says it's subject to all applicable laws, processes, and approvals. So this resolution doesn't bind the city to do anything because we don't have the ability, as Councilmember Graham said, to do that outside the confines of our laws and requirements and procurement and all of those things. So that sentence is, it really all this is saying is an intent to work collaboratively in identifying and facilitating acquisition, but that intent is, it is qualified by the city's compliance with its laws, processes, if that's helpful.
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Crafton?
Thank you, Mayor. So I guess this would be potentially to Holly. What the last statement does, because we have the laws, processes, and approvals in there, really what we're saying is the reason why we're working collaboratively with them is because they're looking at city land. If they weren't, then, obviously this would be pointless. But it's almost necessary to this to have that in there because it identifies like, look, we're going to work with you when it comes to this city-owned property specifically.
Further discussion?
Yes, and I think that's true.
Madam Mayor, if I may too, I
Yes.
think if you.
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Graham?
Madam Mayor, Mr. Graham. Thank you. So I would say that what we're doing here is we are binding the administration to work collaboratively with this as opposed to work with it. Working collaboratively means working together towards a goal. And that goal is to acquire some city-owned land. And since there is no proposal before us that says, hey, we're interested in acquiring this particular piece of land, but we need to work in cooperation with the city to make sure that we meet all the requirements. This just says whatever they bring before the administration is bound to work collaboratively with the YMCA. So I think the ball is in the YMCA's court to do all the work and then come to the city with a proposal, not for the administration to put together a proposal that the YMCA thinks is a good idea.
Okay, is there further discussion? Hearing none,
Mayor, one thing I will say,
go ahead. Holly?
the only thing I would say is if you wanted to amend, if there was a desire to amend the resolution, I would just strike the language that Councilmember Graham's discussing, and then just leave in 3 that this resolution is subject to all applicable laws, processes, and approvals. Because I do think that that is pretty essential language, because this is unusual. We don't generally do this. So if that's helpful, that'd be a way to amend it.
Okay. Now, can the attorney make a motion?
Well,
Yes.
Councilmember Graham and Cottle as the makers of that motion, do you have objection? Do you want to work through this? Because what we can do is if yours passes, somebody can move then to add a 3, because 3 will be out, to read, this resolution is applicable to all applicable laws, processes, and approvals.
Councilmember Graham objects any resolution that we put forward and any code change that we put forward is subject to all applicable laws, processes, and approvals. So I object.
So the motion, we have a primary amendment pending, which is to strike lines 40, 41, and 42.
Okay, is there objection to the motion?
Madam Mayor, I object.
There, Mr. Crafton has raised an objection, so we have a roll call vote.
Thank you. This is on the amendment.
On the amendment only.
Thank you. Councilmember Cottle.
Yes.
Councilmember Graham.
Yes, in favor of the amendment.
Yes, thank you. Councilmember Schmidt.
Yes.
Councilmember Crafton.
No.
Councilmember Velock.
No.
Councilmember Rubio.
Yes.
The amendment passes with council members Cottle, Graham, Schmidt, and Rubio in support, Crafton and Velock opposed. So the motion before the council is at this time to adopt the resolution minus number 3.
Okay, is there further discussion on the original motion?
Madam Mayor,
Ms. Velock?
just for the record, I was hoping maybe we could just cut that amendment a little bit. I liked what Holly said, just leaving, and what Stu kind of said at the end too, striking the affirms its intent to work collaboratively with YMCA, but actually still kept on in there about the subject to all applicable laws and everything. That was all. I just wanted to clear that up.
Okay, Nikki, is that a motion?
Can I make a motion?
Well, yeah.
Yes, I make that motion.
Okay, restate it.
Oh, gosh, okay. Holly, restate that. Let's see, we would be leaving the verbiage, like Holly said, about, and what Stu said, what is appropriate on city-owned land, subject to all applicable laws, processes, and approvals. Maybe Holly could help with that. I thought maybe we should eliminate the beginning of that, like 40 and 41, but keep that part in.
And maybe, how about something like any, let's see, I'm trying to think of a way to talk about the relationship between the YMCA and the city. So,
Holly, can we take an at ease and let's get our thoughts together?
yeah, so that might be better. Yeah.
Okay, we are in an at ease.
Madam Mayor, you want to turn your mic off?
No.
Mayor?
Holly? Are you ready?
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go. We are back on the record at 6:42. Okay, you wanna state,
Okay.
Holly, you wanna state your,
Okay, a motion to amend number 3 on lines 40 through 42 to eliminate existing language and replace it with any exploration by the city and the YMCA remains subject to all applicable laws, processes, and approvals.
Could you?
And I use exploration because the resolution uses that term throughout for exploration of opportunities. So I thought that was the most fitting.
Madam Mayor.
okay, could you repeat that again, please?
Yes, any exploration by the city and the YMCA remains subject to all applicable laws, processes, and approvals.
Got it.
And one other thing to note with this too, which addresses Councilmember Graham's concern, it is that there is a whereas provision that on lines 27 through 29 that says the adoption of this resolution does not obligate the city to provide funding, transfer property, or commit any specific project, but solely affirms support for the YMCA to explore opportunities. So that ties number 3 with that whereas provision, both providing protection for the city.
Okay. Mr. Crafton?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to, I was about to make the motion, because I don't know if she
Well,
can
we
make
need
the
a
motion.
second.
I already made the
Is she
motion.
making the motion then officially? That's her official motion?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll second the motion. There we go.
Okay, the motion's been made by Holly and seconded, or made by,
I don't think I
You are
can
not
make a
putting
motion.
oh,
Yes,
come
guys.
on, Holly.
Yeah,
It's been
no.
made by, the motion
not
has
have
been
that
made by
power.
Nikki and seconded by, Crafton. Is there further discussion? Mr. Schmidt?
The question is, do we have very much land? I'm fairly new to the council, so I don't know how much land we have acquired that would be accessible for this particular, a location for this besides where we were talking about over here at the Menard Center.
Okay, Scott, you want to weigh in on that, please?
Point of order, Madam Mayor. I don't think that's germane to the amendment right now.
Gotcha.
We're discussing the amendment.
I can do.
And Madam Mayor, could you please have the amendment repeated without interruptions?
Yes, sir. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The pending amendment inserts a new number 3, which will read, any exploration by the city of Wasilla and the YMCA remains applicable to all, remains applicable to all applicable laws, processes, and approvals.
Okay, is there further discussion on the amendment?
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Graham?
Yes, I would object because, once again, we put the city in here that says any exploration by the city and the YMCA. The city is doing its own feasibility study of what's going to happen at the Menard Center, and the city, by virtue of its Parks and Recreation Commission and City Council, does these sorts of things independently of any other organization. So I propose a secondary amendment to strike the words "the City of Wasilla" from the amendment on the floor.
Is there a second?
Is that legal, Madam Clerk?
Is it,
Do we have a second?
hearing none?
Hearing none, the amendment fails.
It dies for lack of a second.
So we are back to the amendment. Is there further discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, is there objection to the motion on the amendment?
Graham objects.
Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Thank you. Councilmember Cottle.
Yes.
Councilmember Graham.
No.
Councilmember Schmidt.
Yes.
Councilmember Crafton.
Yes.
Councilmember Velock.
Yes.
Councilmember Rubio.
Yes.
I'm going to call this amendment number 2, passes with Councilmembers Cottle, Schmidt, Crafton, Velock, and Rubio in support. Councilmember Graham opposed.
Okay. We are back to the original motion as amended. Is there further discussion? Ms. Rubio?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Question on TBA for the feasibility study through Scott.
Scott?
Through the mayor, Councilmember Rubio, on the city's feasibility to be, we're projecting right now to get the RFP for the feasibility study out in about 30 days. And then that will, the decision-making process on who to use goes through, and then the feasibility study would start.
Thank you, Scott.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes, my question was, is there other land besides at the Menard Center that would be appropriate for this facility that is owned by the city?
Scott, do you have an answer? I don't.
Any land, I would probably refer to Director Shaw, but the Menard Center is, I believe, 62 acres, of which a portion of it is kind of marshland once it goes towards the railroad tracks, and then it goes deep towards some residential in the creek, but there is space for a facility of similar size that we currently have, and potentially some additional parking with that, but wouldn't be room really for multiple sites. But about 62 acres is what the Menard Center footprint is.
But was there any other besides just the Menard Center area? Does anyone know of?
I don't know.
Madam Mayor, if I could.
Eric?
Through the mayor. So, other than the Menard, the other technically recreational area would be the Bumpus recreational area, and then, you know, there's always the Lake Lucille Park. But the rest of the large swaths of city property are either the airport or the water and sewer plants.
Mr. Crafton?
Thank you, Mayor. So the 3 spots that Nate had mentioned to me that they were eyeing, we'll say, was the section of the Menard Center that Mr. Scott has mentioned. Bumpus was the other one. So actually there's 3 separate parcels of land at the Bumpus area that the city owns. It's the ball fields themselves, the baseball fields. South of that, you have the soccer field, which is being utilized, but to the east of that is a section of land that's basically just gravel and has been gravel for as long as I can remember. It's been 20-something years I've been here. That was the spot, and that's 40-ish acres, I want to say. And then the third spot was the one that we acquired most recently at the base of Home Depot, between Train Depot and what's now Super Thrift right there. There's a big section of land right there that's basically just gravel right now that nothing's on. So those were the three spots that they identified to me, saying, hey, we want to explore options. They didn't want to say which one they liked the most. They don't know which one's the best. But those were the three that they had told me that they were interested in. And what they needed size-wise was a minimum of 5, ideally up to 12, I believe, acres was what they would like to see.
Is there further discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Kathy?
And the city clerk may have to help me with this, but is it possible to table this until we have our feasibility study done for the Menard Center?
Thank you. Through the chair to the council, you could do it a couple different ways. You could just vote this down, or you could make a motion to postpone indefinitely the ordinance, which effectively kills it without taking a direct vote.
Madam Mayor, I move to postpone this indefinitely.
Is there a second?
Rubio seconds.
It has been moved by Councilmember Cottle and seconded by Councilmember Rubio to postpone this amendment indefinitely. Is there objection to the motion?
Madam Mayor, I object to the motion.
Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Thank you.
Do we not get a discussion on postponement?
You do.
Did we get it?
Can you bear with me for 1 second?
Yes. Sorry. Okay, further discussion.
Okay, sorry, Ms. Collins' mic
Ms.
was on.
Crafton?
I'm curious for what the reason is for the postponement.
Madam Mayor, my reasoning for it is I think we've just got too many unknowns right now. And since one of the properties that they're interested in is out at the Menard Center, and we don't have our feasibility study done, and once we have that, then may decide if we want to do something with our other properties. So I just think we need to take care of that first.
Okay.
Madam Mayor?
Nikki?
So what does this do for the YMCA? Does this kind of leave them dead in the water from looking at any of our properties, or do they just have to go do nothing while we wait on a feasibility study for the Menard Center? I don't really want to do that to them either.
Madam Mayor, I would think they can go ahead and do their own feasibility study whenever they want.
On our properties?
On anything in the city here, it's their
Okay.
feasibility
That's why I was
study,
wanting to know,
not
are they
ours.
just dead in the water, or can they pursue?
I don't think we can, Holly, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we can prevent them from doing their own feasibility study on any property.
Well, it depends on what level of entry they need into a parcel. I mean, I think that was the purpose of the resolution, was to provide them more access. But I also think on an administrative level, the mayor's office has the ability to give them access, and for as so long as we make sure that there's no liability arising from that.
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Crafton?
Thank you, Mayor. So to answer Ms. Viock's question, no, technically, the administration has every right to allow them to do what they want. Really what this is doing is saying that the council and the city as a whole supports it, and we are encouraging and asking the administration to allow these things to happen. One of the big things that would need to be done to determine what's best for the YMCA is potentially a soils test, because you're putting a pool in the ground. You can't just put a pool anywhere, is what we've determined over the last 20 years. And so in this case here, this would just say, hey, we're willing to allow you to do that. I mean, the administration still has the power to kind of guide how that's going to look. You can't, they're not just saying, hey, go do whatever you want. It's just saying we're encouraging the administration to allow it. So this doesn't leave them dead in the water. It does somewhat show that this doesn't seem like the city's interested in working with them. This just was, again, going back to the conversation that was initiated by a former mayor with them and some other members of the community to have a YMCA here. And so, again, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be passing something like this. All it's doing is saying, hey, we support it. We want you to determine if you have the options here. Mr. Scott even stated that our feasibility study and their feasibility study could be two different things. I mean, our feasibility study could come out and say, hey, we need a pool, and we go, great, the YMCA is gonna do that for you, because just because our feasibility study says yes doesn't mean we should. It's just telling us what the community wants, and we're not necessarily a city that's in the business of full-blown recreation services. That's not entirely what we're in this for. And so there comes a point where we get a feasibility study done and we might say, look, like that's not something we can provide. We're not able to get into that. And that's where a business like the YMCA can step in and say, hey, we can support those needs. And I think these actually work very well, allowing them to move forward. Again, they don't need this to move forward. It just says, hey, we're willing to support your efforts as well. And then when it comes back to the council in the future, that's when we'll have a little bit more harder of a conversation as to exactly what's going to be the next steps forward.
Is there further discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Kathy?
I didn't jump in front of anybody, did I? Okay. And I'm not against the YMCA. I just think we need to take care of our feasibility study first, and then it may open up something, very well for that the YMCA, would be able to do. But I just think we need to take care of ours first so that we're informed, and then we can look forward from there.
Ms. Rubio?
Madam Mayor, on a side note, to Councilman Crafton, the YMCA I used to play at back in high school in Anchorage. They have wanted to be out in Wasilla since I was in high school 25 years ago. So if it's something they want to actually do, this is not going to stop them. This does not say we're not supporting them. I had comp basketball players that playing in Anchorage at 3 YMCAs and different facilities in there because YMCA did not have enough facilities for all the comp basketball going on. And still they were like, hey, yeah, we're gonna come out to Wasilla, we're gonna come out to Wasilla. So this has been going on for many years. So I don't think that the city of Wasilla, what we just did by postponing it, because as Councilman Cottle said, it's not the right time. Postponing does not mean we're getting rid of this and not tabling the idea of the YMCA coming to Wasilla, maybe even on one of our properties, but for right now, it's not. Thank you.
Further discussion? Hearing none. Do you still object to okay. Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
This is the motion to postpone indefinitely, which effectively kills it. Resolution serial number 2531 as amended. Councilmember Crafton.
No.
Councilmember Velock.
No.
Councilmember Rubio.
Yes.
Councilmember Cottle.
Yes.
Councilmember Graham.
Yes.
Councilmember Schmidt.
No.
Madam Mayor, the motion to postpone indefinitely at this point in time fails with Cottle, Graham, and Rubio in support, Schmidt, Crafton, and Velock opposed. Do you wish to break the tie?
Yes.
So the resolution is postponed indefinitely with
Yes.
Madam Mayor breaking the tie.
Because I believe that we need to make sure that Wasilla is taken care of before we give the idea that we're gonna do something else. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Before you now is AM number 2553, authorization to submit application to Alaska Department of Environmental Conservation for capital improvement funding.
Okay, Mr. Ted, would you give us a report on this, please, sir?
To the mayor and to the council. Let's see, is this on? Yes, I requested that this be brought forward. I just wanted to discuss the application and the program. And as Councilmember Cottle did see, we do need to change the AM. I was talking to the director too, that when this was originally introduced, it showed updating the water master plan, and then it said water master plan. This is actually, the second one will be updating the sewer master plan. So this application is based on a letter that is on page 151 that we received for approximately $432,781. And just wanted to quickly, Deputy Director Nygaard wanted me to discuss the program and how this came about. And it is a combination of working with AML, going to the meetings and finding out more about this program through the Department of Environmental Conservation, which allows the cities to utilize loan funds to fund water and sewer projects. In the past, we built a significant portion of our water and sewer infrastructure through low-cost funds. Now, the new twist to this, due to ARPA funds and other plan, is if you're qualified through a census study to be tier 4, that these type of loans can be forgivable, which means it's the best way to leverage our funds is to actually be able to have forgivable loans that can help us with our water and sewer projects. The first 3 in this initial application are, again, for updating our water plan, updating our sewer plan, and start to replace our legacy septic tanks. And down the line, after this application and we get approval, is that we are planning to do another application, as it states in the action memorandum, that there's more money, approximately $3.5 million for water projects and $2 million for sewer projects. I believe that's on an annual basis, is it not, Director? So again, we just wanted to show that this program's available, and we really believe, after talking to the representatives at ADEC, that this could be a game changer as we're going forward trying to replace all of our septic tanks, and then it can also be used for other projects to have sustainable infrastructure for water and sewer. And that's really what I had, Mayor, and if there's any questions, I could attempt to answer them, but when the deputy administrator gets back, she has much more information on these 2 programs. And I was going to say that if you look at page 233 through 237 gives a really good description of the Alaska Drinking Water Fund and also the Alaska Clean Water State Revolving Loan Fund. So it gives good information, and we believe that this is the first step into accessing a lot more money, is making the application for these first 3 projects. And then when we're successful in getting those funds, we can move forward in looking at how we can utilize this program or these programs, 2 programs, to help fund other water and sewer projects. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Is there a motion for approval on AM number 25-53?
Madam Mayor,
Mr. Crafton,
I move AM number 2553.
is there a second?
Rubio seconds.
The motion's been made by Councilmember Crafton, seconded by Councilmember Rubio. Is there further discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Crafton?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Ted, for that. It did answer some of my initial questions there. First question, though, I also still have is, I know you, Crystal's not here to potentially answer this, but back, gosh, it's been over a year and a half now, whenever we originally put in money for, did we do the wastewater master plan or the water master plan last year? I can't remember. We put in money for one of them, and originally she was going to get money to get reimbursed. I think it was a very similar process. Was that this exact same program? Thank you. Second question is, are we going to continue forward funding all of this? So the idea that we're not going to get hung up on waiting for the money to come through from us. We're basically going to say we'll pay for it, and then once the money comes back to us, we'll reimburse ourselves like we've done in the past with grants like this.
Through Madam Mayor to Councilmember Crafton, I would have to look more into that because we haven't completed the water and sewer plans right now. So that loan isn't supplanting funds. We're just not going to utilize those funds to pay for that portion of the water and sewer plan. So I am not sure that these funds can be, used to reimburse. But instead of more, I believe these plans these funds are supposed to leverage those projects. But I'm sure if we can pass this on to, we have it.
Yeah, through the mayor. So what we need to do to keep these funds available is just make sure that our RFP for those master plans meets some grant language, which is not difficult. And by doing that, we leverage the funds that you talked about in the budget, and it might mean that we expend less of our own funds.
Yes.
We just use this money first, complete the project with some of our funds, and then be able to use that in whatever the next project is the council deems fit. So we just need to make the RFP worded correctly so that these funds are eligible, and we just keep moving at the same pace.
If I could continue, Mayor. So it sounds like the answer is basically yes, because a lot of times too we have to pay half up front, whatever it might be. Like a lot of these contractors want money now to start the work, and then when we get this money back, that's essentially when it covers the other amount, and then we're putting the rest of it back in our pocket. I mean, looking at this, we're not even doing $2 million in wastewater projects with the tank replacement, at least. I mean, I know we've got when we factor in all the projects, we definitely are. But with the tank replacement, I think what we were discussing this year was it 800,000? I think we were going to look at spending over the next year. You don't need the exact number, but I mean, is this going to allow us to ramp up and really push to try and use every single dollar? So we're going to be, it sounds like we're going to need another crew putting in tanks
Yes.
to make sure that we're using every dollar of this, especially knowing it's an every single year thing for as long as hey, if the money's there, let's go ahead and take it.
Yeah, so through the mayor, this would supercharge that program where we were, not trying to bite off too much at once. This would allow us to formalize that project, have a larger list of septic tanks that need to be replaced, and really make it its own parallel project, as we talk about the legacy project in itself. Those ongoing funds that Ted mentioned would mean that it would be a substantially larger project as we look to the broader issue with aging tanks in our facility.
Awesome. Last thing, Mayor, I just want to applaud the administration for this. I think this is a wonderful use of your time in finding and putting together this type of project, getting these dollars back. Because I mean, this is how a city like ours stays debt-free and is able to forward fund projects and have cash on hand to be able to, I mean, to do this type of stuff. You know, to me, this is the highest and best use of our time is being able to get our reimbursements back like this. So I really applaud you guys. I think you're doing really great, and I'm so glad that this is being done. So thank you for this.
Is there further discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Graham?
So in answer to council's concern, this money typically cannot be used to reimburse. These grants are intended to move projects forward, not to reimburse cities, tribes, and others for projects that they completed on their own. So if we complete the project on our own with our own money, that is our own money. If we intend to use this loan money to move a project forward, then that loan may become forgivable and can be used. But the city or the state under this revolving loan fund is not going to loan us money to pay us back for something we've already paid for.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none, is there objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes. Madam Clerk, we are now at communications. Please read the items by title.
Thank you. Item number 2514, monthly financial reports for the period ending May 31st, 2025. Item number 2515, quarterly financial reports for the period ending June 30th, 2025, to include the month-to-date expenditure report, disbursements greater than 10,000, the investment report, quarterly report of business receiving a penalty waiver for sales tax, and lastly, Airport Advisory Commission meeting minutes, April 17th, 2025.
Thanks, ma'am. We are now at audience comments, which is a time for members of the public to share their views with the council. This is not a question and answer period or a time for dialogue. Speakers may be referred to administration, or issues raised may be taken under advisement by the council or administration. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to the council at this time? If so, please come up. You've got 3 minutes, and start by giving you your name, please, stating your name.
Tim Johnson, City of Wasilla resident. I'm disappointed in your actions with the YMCA. I'm going to tell you several reasons why. I think that you made a decision based on incomplete information and some assumptions which are not correct. First off, as a member of the YMCA does not necessarily compete only in sports activities. The YMCA offers a whole wide range of services such as senior rehabilitation. Unless that is going to be part of our upcoming feasibility study, I don't see that as even in competition. It offers services for after-school programs, and what is really cool for me is that it is supported by this organization called Blue Shield of Alaska. What this means is that through the Silver Sneakers program, I can go and get exercise facilities free of charge along with assistance in whatever I need. So it's offering a whole lot of different services than you could ever put into your feasibility study for the Menards program. That's number one. So I think that you are operating on information which was really basically incomplete. Number two, all property in the city is under the authority of the city, whether it's city-owned or not. So at this point, for the YMCA to come in and even look at additional properties, there's always going to be property zoning issues that they're going to be having to work with the city for. So it is really disappointing that we wouldn't want to work with the YMCA, whether it is a city-owned property or whether it is another property which may have to be rezoned or taken into account to get their project to move forward. So when I get back on the council, this resolution will come back on the table. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience? Senator?
Forgot to sign up earlier. Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council members. For the record, my name is David Wilson. I'm a city resident, and tonight I am wearing the hat of my employer, the Matsu Health Foundation. I also just want to again send out an email to you all about this week's upcoming film screening at the Valley Cinemas for the ILP film screening, the Infant Learning Program, hosted in partnership with CCS Early Learning, Matsu Services for Children and Adults, and Representative Jubilee Underwood. The film highlights the fight for developmental care for children. It is free for folks to attend. Anyone listening or in the audience would like to attend, feel free to come on down. It is this Wednesday, again, from 5:30 to 7:30. Dinner will be provided, and following the film screening, there will be a panel of dialogue about the film program, analyzing what hopefully will be an amazing and meaningful night for some. On another note, switching that, just throwing on, this weekend there was a sort of a political think tank group meeting in Talkeetna, where I was lobbied to fight for an aquatic center. I'm just going to pass that along to you guys. For the city of Wasilla said, you should go talk to that mayor and your council folks and advocate for an aquatic center. So I just passed that along. Think about an aquatic center and what that would mean for the Matsu Valley in totality, and a serious note, and what that could bring to the area. There's not really a really good aquatic center in sort of this area, even in Anchorage. I mean, look at what Bartlett was and how that's become. If you ever went to swimming, how that was designed sort of now and what it could be for, and what our current facilities here in the valley look like in terms of a place for recreation for those type of aquatic activities and what that can do for our area. So just pass that along. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name's Tyra Moe, and I've lived here about 45 years. I have seen some familiar faces here, quite a few. Anyway, I do a lot of hiking around the city limits, Wonderland Park, and the police force and the public works have done a beautiful job on improvements. Love it. Every year I go there, it's just better every time. But I'm concerned about the homelessness and a lot of garbage. I pick up a lot of garbage. A month ago, I picked up meth pipes and kind of stuff like that and put it in a dumpster, and I clean up. I pick up a lot of garbage, but I'm just concerned about my son and little grandson live in Anchorage, and they're down by Valley of the Moon Park, and it's horrific. And I can't even take my little grandson there. I drive him to Eagle River Park. He's 2.5, and it's just, that's coming out this direction. And I'm just, I love Wasilla. I've been here 45 years. I love my neighbors and community. And I'm just concerned about the homelessness. And like I said, I know that there's maybe some ordinances in place or maybe some things that we need to get in place. And I just kind of wanted some help in that direction because I'd like to be involved some way there. And just wanted to speak on my concerns about that. Safety, last summer there was a guy that was camped 2 weeks right behind where the kids play. And we were watching it, the seniors that walked there and some of the other families, and then he was gone, and then again he was back in August. And I just cleaned up the garbage and put it in my dumpster at home. I mean, we don't need children playing, people camping where children play and seniors walk. And you guys, again, have done a fantastic job of that park. I love Wonderland. It's beautiful. And I just thank you all for being involved, and the police and everybody. But I just worry about what's going on, in town, and it comes out. So I just, again, my name's Tyra Moe. I taught second grade 25 years. I had Alina, and I had your boy. And I know a lot of you guys. I've talked to you about a flag on top of the,
Chamber.
Yes, the chamber, because I thought that little faded Alaska flag might need be replaced with a big American flag. Anyway, I'm very patriotic. I love my country and I love you guys' hard work. And I just wanted to, I was going by after my walk and I thought I'm gonna stop in and check in on the homeless issue. Anyway, thank you for your time.
All right, anyone else? Hearing no one, we'll bring it back to the dais. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It was nice to see you, Ms. Mo. Early voting's underway through October 6th, weekdays 9 to 5 here at City Hall, and then Saturdays from 10 to 3. So if anybody is interested, can't make it in person, we do have absentee by mail voting. The application deadline is September 30th, 5 o'clock, so you want to get that application in. And we will see you all here next regular meeting, October 13th. Thank you.
Madam Attorney.
No comment, Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Graham.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I apologize for having to call in this time, but it's nice to have this technology available. Appreciate that. Appreciate everybody's comments tonight, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay, Councilmember Rubio.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On the note of Mrs. Mo, you had me kindergarten and second grade. So you got bumped up. So I had kindergarten and second grade. She's awesome. She's awesome. She's awesome.
This year, sorry.
Question if I can. I was just wondering, it brought up a light. If I could ask Eric, how many septic tanks we've actually completed this year?
Ooh, I know we've done at least 3, but I can get you a more accurate number tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. It just brought up that AM, so I just wanted to make sure we had that list at the very beginning, I think, of spring, and so I was just seeing where we got checked off. Other than that, full support of YMCA, but I think out of context, I think is, I think sometimes things need to cool down, and like I said in my comments, I love the YMCA. I think they do a great thing. Yes, I referred to basketball in my own career, but yes, they offer a wide variety of things. But right now we are working on our own backyard and making it feasible for us. And then at that point, we can then lend our arms out to help other businesses and get them in our community, because it would be an asset for sure. Thank you.
Councilmember Crafton.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for being here tonight. For everybody who's stuck around, I mean, it's, to be honest, it's a rather short meeting. It feels like today with how long we've been running lately. So thank you all for staying again. And, again, I always enjoy the healthy discussion. Doesn't always mean it's going to end up how we want it to be, but I do appreciate the conversation. All I would ask is, Mayor, if the YMCA does approach you, that you would allow them to do what they need to do. Again, all this was doing was just saying the council supports their efforts. So I'd appreciate it if you continued to do it. You didn't need this to allow that. So that's all. I appreciate y'all, and we'll see you. It's going to be another 3 weeks almost now. So we'll see you next time.
Councilmember Viglock.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you everyone for coming. And I really don't have anything else. It was a good meeting. Thank you. See you next time.
Councilmember Schmidt.
Well, I hope everyone that's a resident turns out to vote. And I thought it was a good meeting, and I really believe it would be a huge asset to have the YMCA here. It was part of my life growing up, and my brothers and sisters, and I learned how to swim there and played basketball, and it was a lot of activities in the small community I grew up in. So I think hopefully we can move forward with that real soon.
Okay. First of all, Madam Clerk, thank you so much. Oh, how did I miss you?
Chopped liver tonight.
You are chopped liver, Kathy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. 2 things. I look forward to looking at this information on parks. I think our park that we're going to revamp has so many possibilities. I think if anybody wants to, they should really kind of look around at some of the parks in the valley. The Palmer Family Park is an amazing park for multiple ages, mostly younger kids, but it is a multi-age park. And several of us have been out there and looked at it, and you know, it just really opens your mind to so many of the possibilities and then how we can really utilize the space that we have to offer so much. So I would encourage everybody to just go around and look at the different parks in the valley there and just, you know, open your mind to lots of different ideas. And then secondly, I support the YMCA. As a kid in Minneapolis, I went to the YMCA, I utilized the YMCA. I am fully aware of all the programs they offer, and we have all that information here too. Once our feasibility study is done, I welcome another resolution coming back. I just want to have our feasibility study done first. And other than that, I mean, I support them. I think they're a great asset to communities. I just want to finish what we started first, that's all. And that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Now it's my turn. First of all, Madam Clerk, thank you so much for the sign down at Newcomb Park. Is it Nunley and Cruzy? Okay. Anyway, it's a sign about voting. People have seen it and they're like, oh, there is an election. And I put it on Mayor's Minute and whatever. So, the signage is out. There's no reason why anybody that lives in this town don't know that we're having an election on October the 7th. So, anyway, Eric, back to this, the grant, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are going to replace tanks when they start the couplet. We're gonna replace those tanks as they get into that so that we don't have to make double work.
Yes, that's true. So the idea is that we've identified tanks that we've had a chance to survey and we know that have failed. So we have the list that we're working on, and we have, as was discussed about the order of the grant, we do have to make sure that it's approved with them before we get moving on some of those. So we have replaced some that couldn't wait, but we also have a backlog that will be run through this grant and utilize those monies first. And then we also have some that we've identified around Lake Lucille that need attention. And then I'll turn over to Ted if he has something to add.
Just one thing, as Councilmember Graham was talking about, one of the criteria with this forgivable loans that we have to take into account is the Build America criteria. So all the steel does have to be American steel in the tank. So that will, as we're going through that, we'll be taking that into account too, so.
Right. And this is part of ARPA money?
That's Mr. Leonard explained, yeah, it's a
Okay.
portion of it through the state.
Okay. So anyway, as far as the YMCA, I'm all in. But we told them, when Scott and I met with them, that we were doing a feasibility study and we would want to have that done before. And so, I don't know what part they didn't understand or what the deal was, but we, as the mayor, it's my responsibility to make sure that this city is taken care of. And we have to take care of what we've got first. If we let the YMCA come in and build out at the Menard Center, and then the feasibility study comes back and says, okay, you need another sheet of ice, you need basketball courts, you need all of this, then we don't have anything. So, I totally agree with Kathy that we need our feasibility study done till we know what the city of Wasilla needs and what we're gonna do. So, thank you guys for your time. This is the shortest meeting we've had in forever. Thank you, Mr. Graham. We are adjourned.